Hi, everyone. Eric Greschner with Regatta Research and Money Management. For those of you who don't know me, I am a fee-only financial advisor with 28 years of experience. I've worked on Wall Street as an analyst, named one of the Wall Street 50 in author Kim Ann Curtin's book, Transforming Wall Street, and am a certified financial education instructor. I love teaching about financial wellness and how to make and keep your money. In this video, I'm going to share a checklist that I've put together of 32 of the most important retirement planning issues to consider. I structured the video to cover 6 issues in the following order. We're going to start off with cash flow, then health insurance and long-term care, asset and debt issues, tax planning, estate and charitable planning, along with miscellaneous issues that I want to make sure we cover for you. Now, before we do get started, I would like to draw your attention to these disclosures. Please take a few moments to review. And as always, for this or anything, please let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. Always glad to help. Now, let's start with important cash flow items that pre-retirees should consider. First, a big one. Will your cash flow needs change once you're retired? If so, like they will for so many, consider developing a written retirement income and expense plan. This retirement income cash flow analysis should be ideally modeled over numerous market scenarios, long-term timeframes, different inflation rates, and different asset class return scenarios and sequences. We use what is called, via the industry standard, a Monte Carlo analysis. And if you hear the term Monte Carlo simulation, you think of luxurious casinos in the Mediterranean or Las Vegas, high steps poker, extreme wealth. You are not necessarily wrong, but no, that is not what I'm talking about here. Monte Carlo simulations actually have absolutely nothing to do with gambling, though, like their namesake, they are related to your wealth, specifically an extremely useful tool for predicting the possibility that you will enjoy a financially secure future, i.e., not run out of money and spend as much as you want to meet your goals under numerous scenarios and sequence of events. What exactly does it mean? Let me share with you a little bit more information. You get your arms around this very important concept. A Monte Carlo simulation is simply a mathematical technique used to predict the probability of different outcomes in sequence of outcomes and enables you and your retirement plan to account for unknowns. It's a way of identifying a full range of possible future scenarios. It could tell you your chances or probability of success for any desired outcome. And financial planning, it is most commonly used to predict investment outcome. With regards to your retirement specifically, it can tell you how likely you are able to fund your retirement at the level of spending the quality that you envision for as long as you live. In short, will you or won't you run out of money in retirement, and what are the probabilities of such? Second, another big item, and this is more for people working for government jobs or nonprofits or a little bit older, will you receive a pension? If so, there are several items you need to consider. Multiple payment options are one. Will it be based on a single life, a joint life with you and your spouse, or a one-time lump sum when you elect to take it? Make sure that you take out the optimal payout based on your needs, living situation, cash flow requirements, health, and family history. How long did you live? How long did your relatives live, your parents live? What was their quality of life like? Consider or not also whether the pension is adequately funded with sufficient assets. And very important, one that I find that when we work with people, they often forget, is that pension indexed to inflation. Oftentimes, it's not something you should be very, very aware of. Coordination strategies may exist between pensions, Social Security, and or life insurance to answer the $64,000 question. What accounts do I take out from and when? What do I do to maximize cash flow and minimize my taxes? Key issues. Social Security is, of course, another significant leg of many Americans' retirement planning, metaphorically speaking, stool. Determining the optimal age to claim your Social Security benefits, as well as the claiming strategy, is an often overlooked an underappreciated aspect of the analysis. That is, based on my decades of experience, a huge mistake. And getting this right and doing it properly and mathematically can make a massive difference in how much income you receive and reducing your longevity risk. Essentially, the risk that you live too long and run through your money too soon. Many people, I found, and statistically speaking as well, claim Social Security too early, oftentimes causing them to lose out. And literally, I mean this with no hyperbole, no exaggeration, several hundreds of $1,000s of income over their lifetime. To put it in context, let me share with you a few details. If you decide to retire early, Social Security benefits may be reduced if you earn more than $21,240 and are collecting benefits prior to your full retirement age, or FRA, or if you earn more than $56,250 in the year you reach FRA or full retirement age. Social Security benefits will be reduced if you collect prior to your FRA, and oftentimes significantly. And so, making the right and optimal decisions can increase it significantly, as I shared earlier. Making these decisions on your own are simple or perhaps crude back of the envelope determinations is a massive potential pitfall. Why? Social Security is benefits are calculated using literally currently 2,728 rules. It's extremely difficult, if not impossible, for one person, much less a layperson, to know all of them. These mistakes, some studies have shown, can cost you up to 76% of your potential benefits. Comparing to claiming at full retirement age, 66, 67, the benefit at age 70 can be literally 32% greater for those born before 1955 and 24% greater for those born after 1959. These differences can be significant over a lifetime. In short, we strongly recommend doing a Social Security optimizer analysis as an integral part of your retirement income strategy. Essentially, what you do is you get your Social Security benefit statements for you or your spouse. We plug them into the software, and it arbitrages the Social Security code legally and very effectively at the same time. It is a huge difference, especially if you're currently married and or were married to a different spouse in the past. If you were married previously and you are currently unmarried, what happens? Consider the following. If the marriage lasted 10 years and ended in divorce, you may be eligible for benefits under your ex-spouse's record. If the marriage lasted more than 9 months and ended due to your spouse passing away, you may be eligible for benefits also under your deceased spouse's record. Will you or your spouse receive pension from an employer that did not withhold Social Security taxes? If so, consider the impact of what's called the Social Security Windfall Elimination Provision, or the government pension offset. Now let's move forward to the next item. That is healthcare and long-term care. If you do have long-term care insurance, it may need to be reviewed to ensure that it still meets your needs. This is very, very critical, especially if you're going to be looking at retiring before age 65 and need health insurance. If so, consider the following. You are not eligible for Medicare until age 65 unless you qualify for an exception. If you are a health insurance marketplace enrollee, you may be eligible for what is called the Premium Assistance Tax Credit. This could limit the amount spent on premiums to 8.5% of your household income. Will you have to change your employer-sponsored health insurance upon turning 65 or upon retiring from your employer? If such is the case and you're under 65, you may need to look to COBRA or the health insurance marketplace. On the other hand, if you're age 65 or older, you need to consider signing up for Medicare. Another question, will you need additional insurance such as vision or dental coverage? Are you considering contributing to a HSA or a health savings account? If so, consider coordinating your HSA with your Medicare benefits to optimize the amount that you're spending and the coverage. Another question, if your MAGI or modified adjusted gross income exceeds $97,000 if you're single, or $194,000 if you're married, filing jointly. If so, you may be subject to what are called Medicare IRMA or IRMAA surcharges. We have put together a flow chart, since this is so complicated, to make it easy, entitled Will I Avoid IRMA Surcharges on Medicare Part B and Part D flow chart for you to answer these questions. Are you disabled? If so, you may also be eligible for certain benefits, or in some cases, provided that you meet the requirements, have the ability to access these benefits early. Have your needs for life insurance changed? The types of coverage, amounts, premiums, and the beneficiaries may need to be revisited. Are you concerned about funding long-term care? If so, you may consider long-term care insurance or self-insurance strategies. What that is, we model what the chances are of one or both of you having to go into some type of long-term care or assisted living, the statistical age these occur, and how much it might cost per year depending on the geographical location, level, and type of care that you want, and then model out what the present value of that future benefit may be, and then set aside a separate silo with investments and asset allocation designed to go ahead and coverage that. It's not perfect, but it is one alternative to consider if you don't have long-term care insurance, and this is something that should be factored in into your retirement income plan. We also, as you could probably imagine, created a flowchart called What Issues Should I Consider When Purchasing Long-Term Care Insurance to help guide the decision process. And if you do have lifetime insurance, it may need to be reviewed to ensure that it meets your needs. And always keep in mind that these premiums could go up on an ongoing basis and could actually really start to eat into your retirement positive cash flow. And number two, they often modify negatively against the policyholders, the type of coverage and the requirements. So this is a real big issue that deserves time to make sure that it's handled in an appropriate best practices. Now let's review some of the common debt in retirement issues. First, do you have stock options, grants, or restricted stock units? If so, consider how your retirement affects those rights and the impact upon your tax liability, cash flow planning, and these are great opportunities to potentially arbitrage legally and ethically the tax code to minimize your tax liabilities. Will your objectives or risk tolerance change once you're retired? Oftentimes, investors become more conservative in retirement. Changes to your asset allocation, your tax planning, your investment vehicles may need to be made. If you're a business owner, do you need a exit strategy or succession plan and a tax mitigation strategy to go with it? If you have annuities or other illiquid assets, do they need to be reviewed to understand your options and making sure that they're still meeting your needs? Do you have a loan on any employer sponsored retirement plans? If so, there needs to be planning to figure out how to pay it back, and also be very mindful before rolling the balance over to another plan if you have a loan out in particular. Do you have a deferred compensation plan? If so, coordination strategies and significant opportunities may exist among other sources of retirement income, again, to optimize your cash flow, minimize income taxes. Do you have multiple accounts with similar tax treatments? Think of multiple 401ks that are tax deferred, traditional tax deferred IRAs, just for example. If so, you may want to consider consolidating accounts to reduce complications and simplifying your cash flow withdrawal strategies. Are you changing residences like moving to Florida or Texas? If so, this may impact your tax liability, potentially significantly so. Cash flow planning and your Medicare Advantage plan if you move out of the network. Now let's turn to the next issue. Tax planning and retirement can be complex. It could also have a lot of opportunities for income tax arbitrage, where the tax code, the timing, the amounts, the source could be optimized to significantly reduce your income taxes. Sequencing, timing are critical here. Other issues that you should be aware of: do you have large required minimum distributions? If so, consider strategies to reduce the RMD, such as Roth conversions. The recently passed Secure Act 2.0 provided significant number of new options that are staged in over time that you should be aware of. I did an earlier lengthy, in-depth, deep dive on this new legislation that is available on the Regatta Research and my personal Eric Greschner YouTube channel if you would like to go learn more. And the second big item: upon retirement, do you expect your income to be lower? For many people, it is, since you no longer receive a salary or partnership interest, profit sharing, etc., from their employer. If so, consider deferring any Roth conversions until you're in a lower tax bracket. And as you may have guessed by now, we've also put together another flowchart for you. Should I consider doing a Roth conversion? That could act as a resource. I could email those to you. Just reach out to me if you would like as well. Next big topic: estate planning and charitable giving, of course, are very important items of our comprehensive retirement plan, and very important to many Americans. They want to go ahead and pass on to their heirs assets that will provide for them, and they want to go ahead and leave a legacy in many cases at the same time. Now, getting back to the very specifics, the checklist I'd like you to run through. Do you expect your estate will exceed your unused federal estate and gift tax exclusion amount? This maximum is 12.92 million if you're single, or 25.84 million if you're married. If such is the case, consider strategies to plan for possible federal estate tax liability, and there are plans and strategies and investment vehicles to help minimize such liabilities, as well as legal structures, trust, or whatnot. Are you charitably inclined and would like to leave a legacy and give back like many people? If so, there's a large number of charitable strategies to reduce the tax burden. And of course, we have a flow chart called "What Issues Should I Consider When Establishing My Charitable Giving Strategies?" Always glad to share. Is your estate plan old or possibly updated? It may be time to refresh it. Legal and tax laws may have changed. Beneficiaries may have changed. All kinds of things. You want to keep on top of this as well. I, of course, have got a checklist for you as well. What issues should I consider before updating my estate plan that we provide as a sounding board and resource free, of course? Do your account beneficiaries need to be reviewed and possibly updated? Very important if there's changes to your family or new additions or marriages or grandchildren or whatnot. This should be done across the board, including retirement plans, life insurance, as well as transfer on death or TOD accounts is the acronym. And last, but certainly not least, there are two miscellaneous issues I want to make sure we cover before wrapping things up today. First, do you have any unused vacation days? Sounds like a very small item, but if so, you may be eligible to use them prior to retiring or receiving the compensation. This may be a nice windfall. I want to make sure you don't leave on the table, so to speak. Second, are there any state specific issues that should be considered, such as unique taxation rules? This is especially important if you're living in one state and plan on moving to a different one, which could have very different tax and inheritance laws and how they treat them. Significant planning opportunities are presented by this type of scenario. As you can probably imagine, these complex, involved issues are best discussed with your tax preparer in conjunction with your attorney. This video covers just the highlights of a very complex, very involved topic to help navigate this challenge and make it easier to understand. Our Regatta team put together a very comprehensive flowchart to walk you through these items. If you would like a copy of this 32 item flowchart or any other flowchart for that matter referenced in this video and don't already have it, simply send me an email and of course I'll gladly share it with you. If you enjoyed this video and would like to learn more about investing and financial planning, and you haven't done so already, please follow my firm, Regatta Research Money Management, and myself, Eric Greschner, on Facebook, on Twitter, and YouTube, and give us a thumbs up and like and subscribe. You could also check out our website if you haven't done so already, regattaresearch.com. Until next time, my name again is Eric Greschner, and thank you very much for joining me. Bye-bye.